welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here. We're going to keep it going, y'all. We got 29 women to see. We're going to keep it going. We are going to break for lunch, though. Hold on. Tico's not that much of a super person. I'm going to go eat. Y'all know I'm going to eat. So we're going to go until about 12 o'clock. Then we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at 1 and do the second half. So, yeah, this is amazing. Now, coming up next. Coming up next, we're going to talk about sparks. We're going to talk about breaking free. We're going to talk to Alyson. Hey, Alyson, are you out there?
Hey, I'm right here. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you? How's your day? Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm having a great day. Just here, International Women's Day. Looking forward to this conversation.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And I've got to ask you, I know you are a coach, you're a consultant, you help us break through these invisible blocks. But if they're invisible, how do you know you have them?
Well, that's a great question. I'm a mindset coach to mindset coaches, and I'm also a business coach. And I believe that business is a holistic experience. Okay. So, for example, a lot of people think that you need the funnels and you need the strategies and the
Mm-hmm.
tactics in order to really convert your audience and make those sales. However, what's going on inside is super important as well, because that's how you show up. That is how everything you execute in your business is determined by your internal state. So generally, one of the rule of thumbs that I use is that if you're working on something and say it's not going well for say 6 months, there's something going on internally, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
in business, it usually only takes about 90 to 120 days to get something going. But if it's taking longer than 90 to 120 days, it's time to start looking at what's going on inside of you that might be driving those external results.
You are so right. I got to agree
Mhm.
with you. I've been in business now. I don't, hold on one second, technical issue. I've been in business now for a long time. I started my first business when I was 10, but almost every day I find myself trying to break through something that's usually in my mind that's stopping me from going to that next level. And I know that most of our self talk is negative self talk, and we're trying to figure that thing out. When you stand on a stage and you're talking to an audience, you have a wide range of people in all different positions going, she's talking to me. How do
Mm.
you connect with your consulting clients so they feel free to open up to you and truly let you know what these blocks are?
Yeah, well, I think it's really in being genuine, being authentic. Uh, People generally can see who you are, right? And it's about that connection. It's about that deep authenticity. In fact, last year, 2021, my theme for the entire year was deep authenticity, right? Because for a long time, right? So I've had this sort of dual identity in that, I'm a business coach, I'm a mindset coach, I do all these professional things. And then the other side of me is that I also used to be on a Latin dance team. And so,
Awesome.
so,
I need to play
so
some music.
So for years, I separated those two lives. And I decided last year, I was like, I'm going to merge those two lives. And I don't really care if people like it or not. And people actually loved it. And people didn't know that about me. And it just made everything so much nicer. So I think that there's like this belief in business that you got to be like so professional and
Hmm.
set all those boundaries, but that is the business of the past, right? Nowadays people want you to be real, people want you to be authentic, they want to know that you have the same problems as them, they want to know that I think you can feel somebody's heart if it's in the right place. So it's about just showing up, living your truth, being in that power, letting everyone else know that they have the same power, and just telling your truth, being deeply authentic, right? Because, the truth is something that I think is so undervalued. I remember last year the platform Clubhouse came out, right? And there was all this hype about people who were brand new coaches and consultants acting like they had all this experience and all these followers,
Right.
and people were buying their following and doing all these crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is there's value in being a newbie. Just be real, right? Think of all the opportunities you shut down by not telling your truth and not standing in the place you truly are in. Maybe somebody is looking to connect with a new coach. Maybe somebody wants to interview new coaches, and there's all these opportunities, and you just throw those out the window because you're here saying you're a veteran, and maybe even made a fool of yourself, because then when somebody asks you a question, you didn't have anything to back it up.
Now, I know you have a success formula that helps people achieve big results. It's called Spark. What does Spark mean?
Okay, so I've actually moved on to another formula. I do use this.
Uh-oh.
I sometimes use the Spark formula, but what I actually use now oftentimes is the Mindset Mastery formula.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
listening. Talk to me.
All right. So it's about business mastery, it's about self mastery, and it's about wealth mastery. Okay. So in business mastery, we need to know who we're speaking, who is that person that we can help the most? How do we speak to them? How do we grab their attention? How do we let them know that we are the person that can truly, truly help them, right? Then it's about really being able to let go of all those money stories, know your value, know who you are, know what you bring to the table, know your truth, because a lot of people get caught up in sales and money stories. They believe that sales is sleazy. That's one of the beliefs that I see the most. Um, you know, the truth is that sales is a means of transformation when you are in the coaching and consulting world. Sales can change somebody's life night to day, right? But we're stuck in the old stories from our childhood, from that car salesman who sold our mother a bad car, right? And
Mm-hmm.
all those
Mm-hmm.
old silly stories, right? But the reality is sales is something totally different now, and wealth is a way that it's a tool to help us change the world, right? Because the more wealth we have, the more resources we have to do those important things and reach more people. And then, of course, we really have to stand in our power. We have to realize the truth about the imposter syndrome, that that's not who we really are, that that's an old story. We're taking the past and we're applying it to the present, right? Maybe you didn't make the basketball team, maybe you didn't make the cheerleading team, and you drew the conclusion that you weren't good enough and that you don't belong. And now here you are starting your business going, I'm not good enough, I don't belong. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
an old story, right? So those are just a couple snippets. I mean, my mindset mastery formula is pretty in depth, but those are sort of a couple of the quick snippets of it.
So if somebody is watching, because a lot of that stuff starts when you're in school, elementary school, high school, middle school. If someone is watching and they're a teenager, maybe they're watching with their mom, it's International Women's Day, and they're going, maybe she's talking to me. How do you get a control of that positive mindset when you're 14, 15, 16? What do you do?
Well, I think it's about really, and this is where one of the biggest challenges we have, because when we're growing up, we're taught to please people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're taught that we got to do what our mom says and what our dad says and what our auntie says, and listen to our teacher, and even if we don't agree with her, we got to do what she says, right? So it's about being able to balance that with your truth, right? So just you have to be able to realize that we're all just humans, and we're all trying to learn and do the same things. Just because somebody is older than you, they may have more wisdom than you, they might not. So it's about being able to differentiate and balance the messages that you're getting externally with your truth internally. And I think we need to do a better job, really teaching our kids that they are amazing. And even if your teacher doesn't think that you are, that's about her, not you.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Before I let you out of the seat, I got to ask the question. What does International Women's Day mean to you?
That's a very interesting question, because so I'm originally from Providence, Rhode Island, but I moved down to Florida about a year ago. And I've had a completely different experience down here as a woman compared to what I had up in Providence. And
Mhm.
it's really been a huge reminder that women are not always equal, right? In fact, for the very first time, I went to a networking event last week and I was talking about what I did. And a guy said to me, "Well, who do you do that for?" And I was like, "Myself, myself." Like, I was like, "Is this a serious question?"
Wow.
I was never asked something like that ever before at a networking event, but 90% of my networking history is up north in the Northeast, right? So it's a very different
Mhm.
culture. And that's just one of probably half a dozen stories in the past year.
Wow.
But it's been a huge reminder to me that women were not always equal and that we are still up and coming in terms of showing people what we're really about, right? So I believe women are meant to rule the world, and we've just got started. So, I mean, I think International Women's Day is a wonderful thing, and I confess that I often forget that you know, women have not always been equal to men, and we have had to really fight to get that equal opportunities and just to be able to be seen equally on the same platforms, right? We still haven't seen a woman president.
Mhm.
Ironically, when I was in first grade, I told my teacher I'd be the first lady president. So, hey,
Let me
maybe it'll
know
still
when you're
happen.
running.
I
I'll
will.
break the story when you let me know when it's happening. I'll break the story.
All
I want to
right.
thank you so much for coming on and joining us for International Women's Day. It's been a crazy morning. Somehow the StreamYard link is going nuts, but we're figuring it out, and you are absolutely amazing. I still think Spark is cool. And I want people to know Spark is cool. I want to invite you to come back and be a guest later. We can go further and deeper. But for now, I hope you enjoy the rest of your International Women's Day. And I'll talk to you soon, Alyson.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
Thanks
I'll
for
talk to
being
you soon.
here. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.